Hey everyone, Richard Metal Fan here, bring you guys an old school album review. And today we're going to be looking into one of my personal favorite albums and just sort of nostalgic albums growing up. And this was one of the first bands that really were like the huge gateways for me into metal. And as you can see below the title, today we're going to be looking into this album, and it's also the 20th anniversary today. We're going to be talking about Follow the Leader by Korn. This is the band's third album, released on August 18th, 1998 through Immortal Epic Records. Now, Korn, I've talked about before. Everybody should probably have at least heard of the name Korn. One of the bands, or the band that a lot of people would say that give credit for giving birth of the metal subgenre known as nu metal. And I kind of have to agree. They would influence like other bands that would come along the ways like Slipknot and Linkin Park and other bands like that. Um, and their previous two albums from this album being their 1994 self-titled debut album, which was a pretty good album, and I'm wearing the shirt from when I saw them play that album back in 2015. That was a good show, but after we're talking about. And then their second album after the self-titled being Life is Peachy, which came out in 1996, which I thought was a step up from the self-titled, being with like the different lyrical styles and different elements, and having a couple guest appearances on there. There are one guest appearance, I should say, but with this album, Follow the Leader, it sort of like combines the elements of those two albums into one. But they also experimented and added different things as well as like programming and as well and different other style stuff as well. And honestly, I think this, in my opinion, is Korn at their prime. Probably like the first three or four Korn albums was pretty much the band just at their peak of the career, and this album pretty much put Korn on the map. Got them like playing in like TRL and like on MTV back in the day, back when they were like really huge and everybody freaking fucking loved them. And I still love Korn. Well, like I said, mainly the first few albums. But yeah, let's dive into the production. Produced by Steve Thompson, Toby Wright, and Korn. The production is really well done, pretty good. Like everything is where it needs to be. Let's talk about the vocals from Jonathan Davis. I feel like his vocals are an improvement from the previous two. Like especially when he sings, like he's an emotional guy. He puts so much emotion into some of the singing on some of the tracks. You could definitely feel like the way he conveys it, and it just sounds really good. And just like the scats he does, and just it saying like nonsense he does, is just wow. Guitar wise, Head and Monkey's guitar playing is just superb. Like one of the best guitar duos I've heard. Like the way that Head sort of like shreds on the guitar while Monkey sort of like strums his guitar is just really great. Just like down tuned 7-string guitars is just insanely good. The bass playing is really audible, really audible. You could definitely hear it well from Fieldy. In my honest opinion, one of my all-time favorite bassists. Like the bass cuts through well, and I really love the tone on this album. Probably the best bass tone Fieldy has on this album. And drumming wise, Dave Silveria's drumming is just really spot on and superb. He lays down the groove, and the foundation on this is really good. Yeah, without further ado, let's dive into this track by track. Now, the first 12... Now, this album actually technically has 25 tracks, but it actually has 13 actual tracks. But tracks 1 through 12 actually have like 48 seconds of silence or so, because from what I heard, like they had a fan named Justin, which is actually named one of the songs on here, which we'll talk about later. And I think he passed away or something then during like the recording or something. So they decided to like do it for like 12 tracks of just like a silence or so, just for his memory, which I do give Korn some credit for propping, or give them props for like showing respect for and giving a tribute to a fan. I got some respect for them for doing that. But there's of course some versions that just leave out the silence. Yeah. But now we just dive into the actual tracks on here. We're starting with track 13 up until 25, and of course we'll start off with It's On, which is a good opener and an excellent song to headbang to. You'll be glad to sort of like hear something after like 12 tracks of just silence. It starts off with sort of like electronic-y stuff, and then it just builds up and this builds up, and then just boom, hits you right in. It's just a really good good way to start this album. And then it leads into the next track being Freak on a Leash, which everybody who knows Korn has heard the song already. Both the guitars and the vocals become a lot more freaky on here, especially like during like the bridge and like the breakdown where just boom hits you right in the face and just makes you get headbanging, and like Jonathan Davis's scat vocals are just insanely good. And then we go into Got the Life, which is the other hit on this album. It's just a metal song that still jumps the gun, like sort of like the two tracks before that. And it also has like a very groovy feel to it. It kind of makes you feel like you want to dance in a way. I don't know. Then we go into Dead Bodies Everywhere, where it starts off with a weird guitar and sort of like a voice box, and it just goes right into there. It's just a very creepy yet interesting song, and I feel like lyrically it, like Jonathan Davis sort of like sings about his own life, and it also has a pretty miserable life, which some people probably have known from like the first few Korn albums. But yeah, and then leading out after that is the song "Children of the Corn," which actually has a guest appearance from the legendary one of the OG rappers and my favorite rappers ever, Ice Cube, which I think is a really good collab like Ice Cube's rapping with like Jonathan Davis's kind of like weird singing in there. Garen, I really think it's a pretty good collab. And then we go into BBK, which from what I've heard, like I heard that song stands for Big Black Cocks or something. I don't know. No, it starts off with the guitar track and it just goes right into there, and I really sort of like this, another good scat performance from Jonathan on here. And then we go into Pretty. It's a song about one of the personal issues that are hard to come by, which kind of leaves you crying throughout the whole track. Like, it almost sounds really creepy in a way, just especially like in the verses. This is just, wow, overall just a weird, creepy song. I don't know. And then we go into All in the Family. It has another guest appearance. This time we have Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit, which I honestly feel like the song lyrically feels like it's a battle between John and Fred. I feel like they're sort of like dissing each other. They're sort of like a song for like lovers and haters of Korn and Limp Bizkit. And I don't even like Limp Bizkit at all, but this song feels like it's sort of like a battle. And if you've seen like live performances of the song from 1998, you can feel like they have like both bands on the stage, and I feel like they both like battle each other, which I think is a pretty good song. Then we go into Reclaim My Place. Starts off with a weird guitar intro, but before Jonathan Davis screams out, "What the fuck?" and then it goes right into there. And especially I love like in the bridge, like where the guitars fade out and sort of like Philly does his slap bass part. I really think the bass, like I said, the bass playing on this album is just superb. Like I said, one of Philly's best bass performances on this album, period. Yeah, I feel like I love this song. And then we go into Justin. Like I mentioned before with the 12 Tracks of Silence. This is a song that was made for like the like for a child in like the Child Wish Foundation, whose last wish was to meet Korn, and they sort of like visited him, which I think is a very kick-ass style guitar, sort of like weird guitars, and I really like sort of like the message behind the song, and I just love the tribute, and rest in peace, Justin. And then we go into Seed, which is kind of another weird song. It has like some weird guitar parts, and it's like sort of like weird vocals from like Jonathan Davis. Sort of like the weird vocal effects they does with the scatting is just really just odd. But yeah. And then we go into Cameltosis, which has yet another guest appearance on here. This time from this guy named Trey from a rap group called the Far Side, which I honestly never even heard of them before listening to this album. But I sort of like the rap metal like combination, which kind of makes it the album's strangest track. Then the album closes with My Gift to You. Now, the song itself is 15 minutes and 40 seconds long. It's sort of like split into two parts, which we'll talk about the main song, My Gift to You. Starts off with some bagpipes on there, similar to like Chutes and Ladders off the first album. And then it just showcases like Jonathan's like vocals. It's just really progressive song. It has like just really just slow moving, and then it goes into like a slower calm part, and then Davis screams out "I hate you," and then it slowly calms down, and then it just goes right back out, and then the song sort of like fades out, and there's actually a few moments of silence before we go into a hidden track on the album, which is the song "Erase My Eye," which was originally done by Cheech and Chong, and this has guest appearance from Cheech Marin. Like it has like starts off with a little conversation, and they did a cover which I thought was kind of funny in a way. Shows off sort of like the band's sense of humor, and it has like Cheech doing vocals, and I think Fieldy doing backups as well. I feel like the band also switched instruments. If you look up any performance of Erase My Eye from '98 or '99, like the band switched instruments where Jonathan plays drums, David Silvera plays bass, Fieldy sings, and there's actually one live performance out there, you'll have to look it up, with where Cheech got on stage and Head and Monkey actually switched sides on stage and switched their guitar parts. And I thought it was a pretty funny way to end this album. Now, but overall, Follow the Leader by Korn is a classic album in the nu metal genre, and a classic album in metal, period. And whether you like it or not, you can't deny it's a classic. So if I were to give this album a score, I'd definitely give this a solid 10 out of 10. It's a pretty good, a really great album. Probably Korn at their prime. So yeah, that's my review of Follow the Leader by Korn, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it, and I'll see you all in the next video, and keep it metal.